Welcome to Plainly Speaking, the show where we talk about AI and financial planning without the jargon, without the hype, and without pretending any of this is simple. I'm Ben Lewis from the Financial Planning Association, and with me, as always, is Matt Reiner, the FutureProof Advisor and our partner in the FPAI Authority. Matt has built a firm, tested the tools, and seen the results firsthand, which makes him the right person to answer the questions financial planners are actually asking. A recent survey found that 87% of financial services organizations say AI is at least partially integrated into their operations. Does that number surprise you? And what does partially integrated mean in practice for a typical advisory firm?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Having done some surveys, I love the word partially integrated. I think of it as like a survey artifact of just something like what does partially integrated mean? And I think that what it could mean is that I have an AI note taker and I'm using it, and people would assume that's partially integrated into my process because I use it in my meetings and I use it in my one-on-ones and everything of that nature. But partially integrated, I think, means just using it, not necessarily like when I think about integration, I think about like AI note takers.
Right.
The notes and transcripts and summaries are coming in and they're automatically being sent to my CRM. And some AI note takers do that. So that'd be called partially integrated. But then I would say, what's the action that it's taking on that? Not only is it putting it in there, but like, what is that helping me do next? What's the next action? And, I think about if there's three questions I would ask to understand if AI is truly integrated in your business or not. The first is that if you were to take that tool out, would anything break tomorrow? If you turned it off. So, like, you think that's why I think about like AI note takers. If we were to turn off AI note takers tomorrow, does anything break? Not really. They just have to
Hmm.
now go type in their notes, right? So, like, nothing really breaks necessarily. Like, the business continues to move on. All right.
Right.
So, number two would be, does a new hire inherit it or do they have to go discover it? Meaning that, is this part of how you work? Is this part of your follow by all? Is this part of your SOP that this AI is inherent into how you train your team? Like, is this a training tool that they have to use to perform the service and deliver the value to the end client that you are expecting? And then number three, is anybody accountable for whether it's still working in 6 months? If nobody's accountable for the AI solution itself, then likelihood is that we're going to get busy with the here and now and the client demands of today, that we're not going to keep it up to date. We're not going to understand what the updates are. We're not going to fix anything that's broken. People are going to start to create workarounds, and then they're going to start to lose trust in the AI tool, and then they're just going to stop using it. And so you've got to have all of those things in my mind. And so when I think about, you know, um, if something is truly integrated, right? Let's not just say partially integrated. Let's say, is it integrated in your firm?
Hmm.
I think about how often is our team using it, right? So like weekly active users, how much are we paying like per cost of these AI tools? If it's tokenized cost, you can see that very easily. When I mean tokenized cost is that you're paying per token as opposed to paying on a per seat license, meaning if you have a per seat and you have 10 people, you pay for 10 licenses. If you're
Hmm.
paying on a tokenized level, those 10 people could use a million tokens and that could
Right.
cost you X number of dollars. And you can see that difference. And I would see like usage trend by teams. And like this comes with, in order to get this data, you say, well, Matt, that seems like ridiculous. Well, I think that this is also a challenge that we've all faced with technology. We've never gotten the full utilization out of the technologies we've adopted. We've gotten like siloed specific ones. And I think that now with AI, the tools that it has, it's easier for us to understand and gather this data. And it's a refresh moment. These types of revolutions that happen in our lifetime, they don't happen that often. This is one of those like major ones. There's a lot of minor ones that happen. And I believe that this is like one of those moments where you can reset and you can start to better understand how your teams are using technologies. You can use AI to help you. and you can use AI to create your dashboards to understand it, but you've got to look in that way. Or you're never gonna get the full of value out of it, and you're always gonna wonder, "What am I paying for?" Like, people say they're using it, are they really using it? And am not seeing it towards the bottom line. And so, ultimately, integration happens not when people can use the tool. Integration happens when people complain if you took the tool away, and I don't think that we're there yet with AI fully, even on that 87%, in my opinion, that if you took it away, I bet you a lot of that percentage of people would be okay.
To kind of build on this for a second, though, and again, when I think of integration, I mean, again, you can look at individual tools and individual technologies and figure out, are we actually integrating this into a specific process? To me, I think it even starts at a higher level. It's about understanding what is like your integration plan. I mean, just looking at the overarching, construct of like your business practices and how technology is going to be utilized across the team, across the organization for what purposes. So, like, a part of me is wondering, are they looking at partially integrated because they looked at, a couple tools and that's it? Or is it the bigger picture integration, plan for putting this technology into place to begin with?
That's actually, I love that. I love that point. I mean, I think that, like, for instance, like, if you use Teams and you have like Excel connected to Teams,
Sure.
that would be deemed partially integrated, right?
Hmm.
But like, but if you took that integration away, it didn't work. I think that you're looking at one level, and I think that the challenge with integration, and I think the challenge with adoption, to be honest, of technology, is maybe even deeper than that. It goes back to the data and owning and understanding what data we have, what data we need at what certain points, and in what technologies. The
Hmm.
challenge, though, that we have is that we just want to have these like simple connections and say, hey, we're connected, but you don't know what data necessarily is flowing, and then you don't know what's the gold standard or the gold line. Like, what's the source of truth of that data? Is it in the data that's in this system A, or is it the one that's in system B? And I think that the challenge that we have to get fully integrated is that the work necessary to do that,
Hmm.
a lot of it is non-technical, and it's very like mundane, overwhelming, like, just like time consuming work of like understanding what every data point we have, where is it, identifying which account number. We have account number that lives in 3 different locations. Which account number is the right one? And
Right.
so then you would understand how the integrations work. And I think that that is a highly technical skill set, and I believe that that skill set is very immature in the planning industry right now. But I believe, and I've been saying this for a little while, that more and more firms are going to have technical experts on their team that are not IT experts, like that plug and play computers and monitors, but are actually deeply technical and experts on their teams. And I think that that's going to be one of the fastest growing areas of planning and financial firms over the coming decade. Because without that, I think we get very, very lost. And we stay partially integrated, and we never get the full value of the ROI of these technologies that are coming out.
It's a great place to leave it. Everybody, that's plainly speaking for this episode. If this conversation was useful, share it with a colleague who's trying to figure out the same things you are, because chances are they are. I'm Ben Lewis for the Financial Planning Association. Matt Reiner is the FutureProof Advisor, and we'll see you next time.